Hello, this is the luckiest maths teacher in the world. Thank you so much for tuning into this video in which we will look at the effect of changes to A on the amplitude of a sine and cos graph. So we defined what amplitude means in a previous video. Remember, it's the distance from the mean position to the maximum or the minimum. So if I have an equation of the form y equals a sine x or y equals a cos x, this number a in front of the cos or sine is the amplitude. So let's look at an example. So let's start by graphing y equals 2 sine x. So this number 2 in front of the sine x, a is 2. The amplitude of this graph is 2. Now, because nothing has been added, there's no plus or minus k, the mean position of this graph is going to be the x-axis along here. This will be the mean position. So 2, the amplitude is the distance from the mean position to the maximum. So how are we going to graph this? Well, essentially, we're just taking the graph of y equals sine x and multiplying the y coordinate by 2. So we know that for the sine graph, it goes through the origin, so that doesn't change. Now, at 90 degrees, sine reaches a maximum. So normally, it goes up to here at 1. But because the amplitude here is 2, the maximum's going to be up here at 2. So we put a dot there. Then at 180, sine is again 0. At 270, sine of 270 is minus 1. 2 times minus 1 gives you minus 2. And then we have at 360, sine is again 0. So this will look very similar to the graph of y equals sine x. It's just stretched out a bit. So this in green is the graph of y equals 2 sine x. So the amplitude, so the distance from the mean position to the maximum is 2. From the mean position to the minimum is 2. So there we have the first graph. Let's try one that's a little bit more complicated now. So now we're going to graph y equals 3 cos x plus 2. So this one is y equals cos x, but there's 2 transformations. So remember, we saw in a previous video, this number here, adding 2, shifts the graph up by 2. And of course, this 3 means the amplitude is now 3. So remember, the amplitude is the distance from the mean position to the minimum or maximum. But what is the mean position? Well, remember, this number that by which we shift the graph up or down becomes the mean position. So the mean position here is y equals 2. This is going to be like the mirror line, the middle of our graph. So when we say the amplitude is 3, this graph is going to go up to 5, up 3, and it's also going to go down as far as minus 1, down 3. So let's now graph this. So we know if x equals 0, cos starts at a maximum. Cos 0 is 1, so y would be 3 times 1 plus 2, which gives us, of course, 5. So cos starts at a maximum. The maximum value here is 5. So then remember, at 90 degrees, cos goes to its mean position because cos of 90 is 0, so we get y is 0 plus 2, which is 2. So it'll be down here at its mean position. Then at 180, cos is at its minimum. So this graph will go down to its minimum, and its minimum is now minus 1 because the minimum is 3 lower than the mean position. So then, for cos 270, remember it's normally 0. It's at its mean position, so it will be up here at 0 plus 2. And then at cos 360 is a maximum. It'll be up here again. So our graph will look like this. So that graph in blue is a graph of y equals 3 cos x plus 2. Remember, the number in front of the sine or the cos gives you the amplitude. This number here gives you the mean position, and the amplitude is the distance from the mean position to the minimum or from the mean position to the maximum. All right, thank you so much for tuning into this video. This has been the luckiest maths teacher in the world. Have a great day.